Games. Schrader is aboard via the free pass, and we'll try to turn that into some early offense for Mount Mercy. Michael Beaudoin 0-1 so far on the season. Facing the right-handed hitting right fielder, Cale Lamb. He fires a strike over the outside corner. Third appearance overall for the St. Francis right-hander. 0-1 record, 8.10 ERA in 3 1/3 innings. He's allowed 5 runs, 3 of them earned on 5 hits. He struck out 2. Man on first base. This is his second walk this season. There's a swing and a hard grounder through the hole on the left side of the infield. A base hit for Lamb. Schrader pulls up at second base, and there are 2 men aboard with nobody out in the top of the first inning. A strong start for Mount Mercy as their first 2 batters have reached, and their catcher, Spencer Wiskus, is due up next. Lamb's 8th hit of the season. That single leads the ball club. He's 8 for 27. Came into play today hitting .269. One of only 3 regulars hitting above .222 over the first 7 games of the season. Strike over the outside corner on Spencer Wiskus. Wiskus is not one of those regulars with a high batting average. He's at 174. He has walked 3 times this season. His on-base percentage is up at .321. Much more respectable as he takes a strike again, but unable to paint the outside corner. It's 0-2. Man on deck is designated hitter Nick Supel. It's a sunny but very chilly day in Chicago's southwest suburbs. Swinging a grounder to short, could be 2. Carraro flips to Peterson for 1. The throw to first is in time. 6-4-3. And just like that, St. Francis is able to erase some of that early potential for damage. Inning far from over as Colin Schrader advances to third base. But Beaudoin in a much more comfortable position right now than he was just a moment ago. Back-to-back hard ground balls to the left side, but Lamb's found the hole, whereas Wiskus's went straight to Noah Carraro and set up the twin killing. So here's Supel. He's got an RBI chance with the man at third base, but there are 2 outs. First pitch swinging, he fists it into right field and drops it in front of Travis Schoonover for an RBI base hit. Colin Schrader scores the first run of the contest. It's 1-0. Mount Mercy on top. The leadoff walk comes back to haunt the Fighting Saints. As Supel swings at the first pitch and bloops it into left, or right rather, for the first RBI of the game for Nick Supel. RBI number 1 this season. In fact, his first hit of the year. He had been 0 of 7. A good way to shake the cobwebs off. First pitch to Farr is fouled back, out of play. Strike 1. Jake Farr is the starting third baseman. Batting with a man at first base. 2 outs, 1-0 Mount Mercy in the first inning. Farr is 1 for 3 on the season, getting just his second start of the year. He takes a ball just off the inside corner. That evens the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. St. Francis will come to bat in the bottom of the first inning with Schoonover, Peterson, and Tesh trailing by at least a run as that ball is driven out to left center field. Long run back for Sean Harper, but he gets to the spot, makes the catch, and ends the inning. Good damage control after the first 2 batters reached, but Mount Mercy does manage 1 run on 2 hits. They leave a man at first base as we go to the bottom of the first inning. 1-0 in favor of the visitors. We're into the bottom of the first inning at DuPage Medical Group Field in Joliet, Illinois. St. Francis trails Mount Mercy 1-0, and the Fighting Saints get their first chance to hit today. They've got Travis Schoonover leading off. Right fielder followed by John Peterson, the second baseman, and third baseman Josh Tesh. Schoonover digs in to begin today's ball game, facing right-hander Carter Lawler, and Lawler's first pitch is a fastball over the outside corner for strike 1. Carter Lawler this season 0-1 with a .675 ERA. He's making his second start and third appearance of the season. The righty's 0-1. A little bit low and away. Ball 1. The count is even. This year in his 2 appearances, Lawler has thrown 6 2/3 innings. He's allowed 5 runs on 9 hits with an impressive strikeout to walk ratio of 10-2. Opponents are betting 300 off of him, and a little bit better than that as Schoonover slams a single to center field. Travis Schoonover, the senior outfielder for St. Francis, entered play today hitting an even .300. And here he is hitting the third pitch from Lawler today out to center for his first hit and St. Francis's first hit of the game. They trail 1-0, but like the Mustangs before them, the Saints get the leadoff man on. Here's the veteran infielder John Peterson. Peterson off to a scorching hot start this season at the plate. He's 8 for 21. He offers at the first pitch, fouling it straight back for strike 1. Expect to see a lot of swings early in the count today just because of the weather. It looks pretty nice out there with the sun shining across the entire field at the moment, but the temperature hovering in the mid-30s at the moment. You don't want to get frozen in the batter's box. It does behoove the hitters to keep moving as the runner goes from first, pitches up and in for a ball, throw down to second base, not in time. Close play at second base. Schoonover didn't get a great jump, and a better throw may have had him. The throw was high, though. It pulled Nick Traisman up off the bag. Traisman tried to apply the tag as he came down on top of Schoonover, and he got him just a hair late. So the count is 1-1 on Peterson, and Schoonover now stands in scoring position with nobody out after picking up his second stolen base of the season. An RBI chance for Peterson as the corner infielders creep in, looking out for the sacrifice attempt. Lawler takes a long look in at his catcher Spencer Wiskus, and finally Peterson takes time. Kevin Rada bats fourth for the Fighting Saints today. He's the DH. Batting fifth is first baseman Foster Heisey. Adam Cebulka does the catching, hitting sixth. Noah Carraro is at shortstop. Sean Harper bats eighth in left field, and Dolan Nicholson bats ninth, playing center. Peterson takes a strike over the outside corner. He was squaring to bunt. Didn't like the pitch coming in, pulled the bat back, called a strike anyway. So he's behind in the count now. Lawler, a good strikeout pitcher early on this season, trying to notch his first in a big moment in the first inning today. 1-2 on Peterson. Quick look back to second base and now to the plate. A swing and a tapper to the left side of the infield past the pitcher's mound. Tough play for the shortstop. Schroeder gloves it and has no play. It's an infield single for John Peterson. Schoonover advances to third base, and they're at the corners with nobody out for Josh Tesh. Peterson was trying to put down a bunt on the previous pitch. It didn't work out. He ended up taking a strike, and it all turned out for the best. That swing turned out to look an awful lot like a bunt. Tapped it just past the pitcher's mound, and by the time it got past Lawler, Colin Schrader did not really have an opportunity to make the play at first base. So they're at the corners, good speed at both bases. And Josh Tesh in the box. He takes the first pitch strike. Tesh is the third baseman. Another man off to a good start, 320 hitter. First three batters for St. Francis are all hitting above 300. They're the only three on the ball club who are. But a good start to the lineup for Brian Mihalik's squad as the check swing results in a ball downstairs. Peterson takes off, and now he's got himself in a rundown. Peterson tagged out between first and second base, and Schoonover is unable to score. The tag was applied by the first baseman. I believe that one went 2 to 4 to 3. I think it was that simple. Wiskus to Trayson to Roberson. Trey Roberson applied the tag, and officially Peterson will get credited with a caught stealing. Count is 1-1 on Josh Tesh. He took off after that pitch hit the dirt, thinking it might be a wild pitch, but a good block by Wiskus. 1-1. Just misses for a ball. It's 2-1. So after Wiskus made his block, Peterson got caught up between first and second. He was probably going to be thrown out at second base, so rather than just take the caught stealing simply, tried to get himself in a rundown for long enough to see Schoonover score from third base. Schoonover was not able to come in, though. Well executed defensively by Mount Mercy. Hitters count on Josh Tesh. He takes a ball that drifts off the outside corner. 3-1. Tesh has 2 of the Saints' 5 homers so far this year. He's also got a team-high 5 RBIs. He's got a man at third base right now as he tries to pick up RBI number 6 of the season. 3-1. Taken for a strike over the inside corner, full count. Kevin Rada stands in the on-deck circle. Mount Mercy got their first 2 batters of the game on. They turned it into 1 run. St. Francis did the same thing with their first 2 base runners, but have not yet been able to make that count on the scoreboard. There's a line drive in a left field, and that one will get a run, and as it drops in the left center field gap. Tesh around first, heading to second base. He turns on the Jets, trying for third. Here comes the relay throw. Josh Tesh is safe at third base. A triple and an RBI, and we're tied at 1. Tesh drives that ball out to left center field. Michael Barbado didn't take the best angle to try to cut it off, and it ended up going all the way to the warning track. Tesh never slowed down around second base, and he was able to slide into third just ahead of the tag and even up this score. He would have even up the score even if he had been out at third base, but nice to have himself a triple as well. And now the go-ahead run here in the bottom of the first inning stands just 90 feet away with only 1 out. Carter Lawler has not yet retired a batter. Kevin Rada swings through the first pitch, strike 1. The only out was recorded on a caught stealing. So Lawler struggling with St. Francis bats early on in this one. Single, triple. One of those hits was on the infield. This one's on the infield as well. Grounded right to the second baseman. An easy play for Traisman, who throws out Rada at first base, but Josh Tesh comes in from third. It's an RBI ground out for Kevin Rada, and the Saints capture the lead, 2-1. A short-lived lead for Mount Mercy. They were able to get one in with 2 outs in the top of the first inning, and St. Francis answers in short order with 2 runs in the bottom of the frame. Now it's Foster Heisey trying to add to this sudden advantage for the home team. Heisey takes ball 1 inside. Heisey, the first baseman, junior transfer from North Central College. The left-handed hitter stands in and takes the ball outside. A hitter's count 2-0. Heisey hitting 143 so far. He's 3 for 21 at the plate. 2 of his 3 hits have left the park, both solo homers. He bats now with the bases empty and 2 down. And takes ball 3. Single, triple, ground out. That ground out produced a run. That's been the inning so far for St. Francis. Had it not been for the caught stealing, we could be looking at a big inning right now. Strike over the outside corner. 3-1. Adam Cebulka's on deck. He'll bat only if Heisey reaches base. If not, we move to the second inning, where Mount Mercy will have their 6, 7, and 8 batters due up. Chopper down the first base line, just foul. Count goes full. Along the field, Mount Mercy lines up with Michael Barbato in left, Austin Hillpiper in center, and Cale Lamb in right. It's Farr, Schrader, Trazman, and Roberson across the infield, third to first. Spencer Wiskus is the catcher. Heisey takes strike 3. Thought he had himself a walk, a high strike over the inside corner, and the first strikeout of the game for either pitcher. Carter Lawler gets out of the first, but not before the Fighting Saints score twice on 3 hits. We go to the second inning. 2-1. Saints lead. Top of the second inning. Mount Mercy is wearing their white uniforms today, but don't be fooled by that. They are the visiting team. Michael Beaudoin back out to the mound after he allowed a run on 2 hits and a walk in the first inning, trying to settle down here in the second now that his team has procured the lead for him. He fires a strike over the outside corner to Michael Barbato. We're underway in the second. Barbato, Hillpiper, and Roberson due up 6, 7, and 8. There's a pop up to the right side foul, and it drops out of the reach of Heisey just in front of the Mount Mercy dugout. The count moves to no balls and 2 strikes. Jack Dahm is in his 6th season as the head coach at Mount Mercy. Out in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, in for the weekend series with the Saints. There's a pop-up left side foul ground. This one's got a little more air under it. Playable perhaps for Tesh, but he can't quite pull it in. Count remains 0-2. The previous foul ball off to the right side was blooped just in front of the Mount Mercy dugout, and no chance for Heisey to get over. That time there was enough air that Tesh was able to get to the spot on it, but he tried to make a sliding play and was not able to keep it down. It did drip into his glove, but popped right out as he tried to hold his balance while making the catch. Tough play, wasn't quite able to make it. Still 0-2 on the left fielder Barbato. And he takes strike 3. So they weren't able to get him on the foul ball, but it takes just one more pitch for Michael Beaudoin to put away Michael Barbato. First strikeout of the game for the St. Francis junior righty. And with 1 out and nobody on, the batter is Austin Hillpiper. First time that either team has retired the leadoff batter. We're only in the top of the second inning, so that's not that notable a feat, but I'm going to note it anyway. Ball is driven deep down the right field line. That stays fair, and it hops up against the wall. An extra base hit for Austin Hillpiper, who cruises into second base and pulls up with a stand-up double. A one-out double for Hillpiper. And Mount Mercy's got the tying run in scoring position. Austin Hillpiper picks up his second extra base hit of the season, hitting .350 in limited action this year for Mount Mercy. Both of his extra base knocks have been doubles, and he stands at second now with one out for the number 8 batter, first baseman Trey Roberson. Roberson takes ball 1. And it's interesting, Mount Mercy's lineup right now is kind of the opposite of St. Francis. As I mentioned, Fighting Saints have kind of struggled offensively early in the year, but they've been really good at the top with 3 guys in a row hitting better than 300. Ball high, 2-0. Mount Mercy's different. They've kind of backloaded their lineup. You look at their 7 and 8 batters, Hillpiper and Roberson. Those are their top 2 batting averages this year. Both men have reached base well over 40% of the time. Strike over the inside corner and an off-speed pitch. 2-1 on the first baseman Trey Roberson, hitting at .308 so far this year with 1 double. Still looking for his first RBI. Chance right now with a man at second base and only 1 down. 2-1 pitch. Popped foul off to the right side. Into the lawn down the right field line. 2-2. That brown lawn with a few trees on it, devoid of leaves. See some snow around the base of those trees out in the berm in right field and in left as well. Count is 2-2. Ball 3, the count goes full. It's a gorgeous day, just picture-wise. You look down at the field, because of the artificial turf, you get the illusion that spring has sprung. It's a beautiful day and everybody's ready to go, but there's still some rust to shake off here early in the season. Ground ball down the third base line, just foul. Still 3-2. Both of these teams are playing in the Midwest after starting the season on trips south. Both teams less successful than they hoped on their southern road swings to begin the year. Both teams entered today's game with 1 win against 6 losses. So hard what to know is real and what isn't at this point of the season. Fouled away, still 3-2. It's hard to make anything out of the early results, and that includes games this weekend. Playing in the freezing cold like this, everybody is going to be a little bit off their games. Of course, these teams have been training since last fall, but it's a little bit different when you actually get out there. The cold weather playing that full 9-on-9. There's a called strike 3. Second backwards K on the score sheet for this inning. Roberson just frozen by that curveball over the inside corner. 2 down. Hillpiper still at second base. And the batter is Nick Traisman. Trey Roberson, followed immediately by Nick Traisman. Causes good confusion for me. Just combine them, you get Trey Traisman. That'd be a fun name. Nick Traisman takes a ball inside. Maybe he's got a brother Trey, I'm not sure. Want to know the count. Hillpiper doubled down the right field line with 1 out this inning. He stands at second base with 2 down. Line drive out to left field. That's a hit. Hillpiper is being waved around third base. Harper comes up throwing. Play at the plate is not made as the throw is cut off, and it's tied at 2. Harper got to that ball quickly, but Hillpiper runs well. And he was able to get around third base just fast enough that no relay throw was necessary from Josh Tesh. He would have beaten it. And for the second consecutive inning, Mount Mercy gets a 2-out RBI single. In the first, it was to give them the lead. This time, it ties the score. 2-2. A lot of offense early. We've not seen a clean half inning yet. And for Nick Traisman, that is RBI number 3 this season. Breaks a 3-way tie and moves him into the lead on the team's stat sheet for the season. Ground ball to second base. This should wrap up the top of the second. Peterson throws out Schrader at first base, and the top of the second is concluded. But Mount Mercy adds to their run total. They tie the score at 2 on a couple of big hits, including a 2-out RBI single from Nick Traisman. As we head to the bottom of inning number 2, our score is St. Francis 2, Mount Mercy 2. Bottom of the second inning here in Joliet. Our score is tied 2-2. Productive offensive first for St. Francis. They'll try to roll that over with their 6, 7, and 8 men due up against Carter Lawler, whose first pitch clips the outside corner for strike 1. Catcher Adam Cebulka is getting his first at bat of the game. Cebulka starting for the 4th time this year. He's 1 for 5 overall. Ball high. Count is 1-1. Cebulka has walked a couple of times, and he's driven in 2 runs. So a productive start for his season as he one-hops this one over to second base. Takes a weird hop, knocked down by the bare hand of Nick Traisman, and he throws out Cebulka at first base. Nice play by Traisman. Off the bat, looked like a pretty routine play, but it had such weird spin on it. Traisman was moving to his left. He had to lunge back to his right, knock that ball down with the bare hand. And even on a softly hit ball on a cold day like this, that does not feel good to have to knock the ball down with the bare hand. Noah Carraro takes strike 1. Traisman stuck with it, was able to throw out Cebulka at first. The leadoff man is retired. 0-1 on the shortstop, Carraro. Lawler's next pitch, taken over the inside corner for a strike. It's 0-2. Noah Carraro has started all 8 games, including today. 182 average. 4 hits and 22 at-bats. Ball high, 1-2. He has scored a team-high 4 runs. One and two. There's a swing and a pop fly out to shallow right, foul territory. Over in front of the seats is the first baseman, Trey Roberson, and he does not have a play. Still 1-2. He was right in front of the seating area down the right field line. Landed only in the first row. He may have been able to lean over and make the play if it had been just a few feet further back down the right field line, but because it was right where the railing in front of the ramp towards the dugout comes in, couldn't lean that far. There's a fly ball, fair territory into shallow right field. Drifting back is Cale Lamb. He makes the catch, and there are 2 outs. Carter Lawler's looking for the first 1-2-3 inning of the game. In fact, he's looking for the first scoreless inning of the game. He needs to get through left fielder Sean Harper first. Harper is 2 for 21 at the plate this year. 1 double, 1 triple, 3 RBIs, and a couple of runs scored. He's been active early this season. He flies this ball deep out to left field. Barbado chases it back, still going, and it's over his head. A hit for Sean Harper, who's at second base. He stops right there. Nope, he's going to try for third. Here's the relay throw. Harper is safe. He slowed down, looked like he was going to be content with a double, and then after that hitch, he took off again, went right for third, and he makes it in on the dive. A 2-out triple for Sean Harper. And there's another man in scoring position for the Fighting Saints. Harper has his second triple already this season. Amazingly, he's just 3 for 22 at the plate, but all 3 of his hits have gone for extra bases. The slugging percentage is downright respectable. 2 triples and a double in 22 at-bats. Fouled back by Dolan Nicholson for strike 1. Nicholson is trying to give the lead back to St. Francis, who held it very briefly at 2-1. We're now tied at 2 in the bottom of the second inning. The 0-1 pitch. Strike over the outside corner. Count is 0-2. Nicholson is hitless on the season. He's 0 for 14 with a walk. Needs a base hit with 2 outs here to match what Mount Mercy did in their half of the inning. But instead, he foul tips it into the catcher's glove for strike 3. Despite the 2-out triple, St. Francis is unable to score in the bottom of the second inning. We'll head to the third. 2-2, we're tied. We are 2 innings into a 7-inning contest here, game 1 of a doubleheader. St. Francis and Mount Mercy tied up 2 runs apiece. And the Mustangs will try to reclaim the lead here in the top of the third with their 2, 3, and 4 batters due up. Cale Lamb shoots one under the glove of the third baseman Josh Tesh and out to left field. Around first base, Lamb heads for second, and he slides in safely. A leadoff double on the very first pitch of the third inning. Nice start for Mount Mercy. Here's a team that was struggling mightily to hit the baseball over their first seven games. 193 team average coming into play today. They had been averaging just under 2 runs scored per game. They've got 2 runs already in this one. And 5 hits in 2+ innings. That was their second extra base hit. Lamb is now 2 for 2. He's only seen 2 pitches today. They've both been to his liking. Spencer Wiskus takes ball 1 inside. Wiskus is 0 for 1, grounded into a 6-4-3 double play back in the top of the first inning. At the time, it looked like Michael Beaudoin had maybe escaped trouble. Dodged a big bullet with that double play after it had been runners at first and second with nobody out. Ball in the dirt there. A good block by Adam Cebulka. It's 2-0. Nick Supple was able to come through with an RBI 2-out hit for Mount Mercy. They got an RBI 2-out hit in the second inning as well. Clutch hitting has been the order of the day. 2 balls and no strikes on Spencer Wiskus. And then next pitch finds the inside part of the zone. It's 2-1. St. Francis likewise had struggled offensively over their first 7 games. They were averaging 2.5 runs per game and hitting .227 as a team. The Fighting Saints through 2 innings haven't quite had the 5 hits, but they have had 4. 2 triples already for St. Francis and 2 runs. Bouncing ball down the third baseline, fielded in foul territory by Josh Tesh, and it is a foul ball. 2-2. Wiskus, the number 3 batter in the Mount Mercy lineup. Nick Supel, who had the RBI single back in the first, stands in the on-deck circle. 2-2. Wiskus grounds it to the shortstop. Runner has to return to his base as Carraro fires to first and retires the Mount Mercy catcher. 6-3 putout. Lamb still at second, 1 down. Batter is Supel. Wiskus has now grounded out to the shortstop twice today. An unproductive out that time. It was hit just in front of the runner. Carraro had even had to take a step or 2 to his left. Probably would have advanced Lamb to third base. Instead, man at second, 1 down. Supel is 1 for 1 with an RBI. First pitch from Michael Beaudoin. This is inside, nearly hit Supel. It's ball 1. The right-hander pitches from the stretch at all times, even with nobody on base, as Supel takes a strike. It's 1-1. So he's not thrown out of his routine by having this base runner. Mount Mercy has had a base runner pretty much the whole way. Only 4 of their first 13 batters have hit with the bases empty. 3 of them obviously were the leadoff hitters of their respective innings. Ground ball to third. Tesh has it cleanly. He looks the runner back to second, throws across the diamond, and we've got 2 outs. The leadoff double has been followed by 2 straight groundouts to the left side. And so now it's up to Jake Farr. 2 out RBI hits. That's what's done it so far for Mount Mercy. Can they do it again here? They don't want to squander this leadoff double in a tie ball game. We're early yet, but anytime you play just a 7-inning game, everything seems just a little bit more dire even from the beginning. It's tough to let a big scoring opportunity like this go by. Ball 1 high on Farr, F-A-U-R. Farr flew out to left field, ending the first inning. Michael Beaudoin trying to make sure that he ends the 3rd inning as well. Here's the 1-0. Swung on and missed. Count is even at 1. If Farr does reach, Michael Barbado will bat next. Ball inside from St. Francis's number 27, Michael Beaudoin. Count is 2-1. Another hitter's count here for a Mount Mercy batter. Beaudoin transferred in from the College of DuPage, originally from Sycamore, Illinois. This ball is flown out to left field by Farr. Drifting all the way back to the warning track is Harper, but he has room just in front of the fence to make the catch. That ball had some good carry to it, but not quite enough on this cold day to clear the fence and make it 4-2. Instead, Beaudoin follows the leadoff double by getting 3 straight outs, and we go to the bottom of the 3rd with our score tied at 2. Bottom of the third inning, St. Francis back to bat with the top of the order. Travis Schoonover leads things off, swings the first pitch and lifts it out to deep right field. Cale Lamb backs up on it at the edge of the warning track, still drifting to his right, makes the grab. One pitch, one out in the top of the third. Schoonover sent a drive into that one. But Lamb was able to stick with it out in right center field. He was back far enough on it right away, right at the edge of the warning track, but it kept carrying into right center further than Lamb initially thought. So he had to rush over on that ball to make sure to pull it in at the last instant. One up, one down in the third. John Peterson now the batter. Peterson takes a strike. Peterson reached on an infield single in the first inning and then was caught stealing. The caught stealing came on a pitch in the dirt. It would have been a wild pitch had Peterson been safe, since he was thrown out. It ended up going down as a caught stealing and may have halted the Saints' rally to some extent, but his single did prove to be big as it advanced Schoonover to third base, and Schoonover eventually scored. Peterson takes a strike here. The count is 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out, nobody on. We're in the bottom of the third inning. Game 1 of the 3-game series. Peterson pops this ball into right center. Should be easy for Hill Piper. It is. Back-to-back flyouts open up the bottom of half of the third inning. And with 2 outs and nobody on, it's Josh Tesch's turn. This is a 7-inning game. The Saints and Mustangs play a 9-inning contest immediately after this one. And then another 9-inning game tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock Central Time. Time called by Josh Tesch before the first pitch from Carter Lawler. Tesch tripled, drove in a run, and scored one back in the first inning. So he's had a hand in both of St. Francis's tallies. Flipped down the right field line. That's a foul ball from Tesch. No balls, 1 strike. Mount Mercy scored 1 in the top of the first. Saints immediately answered with 2 in the bottom of the inning. Mount Mercy tied it in the second. We've been scoreless since then. Popped up shallow center. Playable on the infield, in fact, by the second baseman, Nick Traisman. Traisman puts the squeeze on Tesch's pop-up and ends the third inning. 1, 2, 3, our first perfect inning for either pitcher today. On our way to the fourth, it's 2-2. Into the top of the fourth inning. We're still tied. 2 runs apiece. Mount Mercy tries to take the lead back as they open up the fourth inning with their number 6 batter. Michael Barbado takes ball 1. He struck out looking his first time up. That was as the leadoff man in the second inning. Barbado offers it this one, pops it behind home plate, and stays on the field. Adam Cibulka right behind the batter's box makes the grab. Nice start to the inning for St. Francis. 1 up, 1 down. Barbado is 0 for 2, and now the dreaded bottom of the order. These are the guys that did the damage back in the second inning. Austin Hillpiper doubled, scored on a Nick Traisman single. Hillpiper bats for the second time today. Left-handed hitting center fielder. Hillpiper takes the first pitch. It's a strike over the outer third. 4 straight retired by Michael Beaudoin. That's a game high for him. He's gotten 5 of the last 6 batters he's faced. Fly ball down the left field line. Long run, Sean Harper. He's not going to get to it, but it drops in the bullpen. Foul territory for strike 2. Over on the other side, Carter Lawler has set down the last 4 batters he's faced and 8 of the last 9. So both pitchers have settled in after shaky starts. It was offense early. Through 2 innings, we saw a combined 4 runs on 9 hits. Then in the third, no runs on just 1 total hit. The 0-2 to Hillpiper. Bounces in for a ball. It's 1-2. First home game of the season today for St. Francis. They were scheduled to begin their home schedule a few days back in conference play against Olivet Nazarene. There's a swing and a miss. Strike 3. 3 strikeouts for Michael Beaudoin. 2 down in the top of the 4th. 5 up, 5 down over the last couple of innings. Here's Trey Roberson. Roberson is 0 for 1. He is one of the previous strikeout victims for Beaudoin today as he takes ball 1 outside. Strikeout of Austin Hillpiper was the first one that the St. Francis righty has gotten swinging today. First 2 both came looking back in the second inning. Ball upstairs on Roberson, 2-0. Tuesday's tilt with Olivet Nazarene was postponed due to snow. We tried rescheduling it a few times this week and just never worked out. It was a freezing cold week. Ball outside, 3-0. Which you would expect at this time of year. But this next week is supposed to be a lot nicer, and so the Saints will do their best to get a few more games in. 3 this weekend, 3 more coming up later in the week against Olivet. Strike called, 3-1. Those games that had already been postponed several times. Now scheduled for this week, 2 on Monday and 1 on Tuesday. That game on Tuesday is here at home. Fouled off to the right side, full count. 2 outs, nobody on. Top of the 4th inning. 3-2 on Trey Roberson in a 2-2 tie. St. Francis is scheduled to play 4 games between Monday and Wednesday, and all of them are here in the Chicagoland area. So the improved weather forecast is a big deal as that ball's grounded up the middle. Sliding stop, Carraro. He gets up, throws to first in time. Nice play by the St. Francis infield. Carraro makes a sliding grab to his left. And a good long stretch over at first base by Foster Heisey. Saves that ball soaring over his head as well. A 1-2-3 inning for St. Francis in the top of the 4th. We're halfway through game 1 of this doubleheader, tied up at 2. Kevin Rada leads off the bottom of the fourth for the University of St. Francis and takes ball one outside. Rada's 0 for 1 in the game, but he does have an RBI. Brought home Josh Tesh on a ground ball to second base back in the first inning. Rada takes a breaker for a strike, 1-1. Carter Lawler's pitched really well since that first inning. Gave up 2 runs on 3 hits in the first. Since then, 2 innings, 1 hit, no runs. It's Rada to swing and miss. The count is 1-2. Lawler's coming off of his first perfect inning of the game. He misses outside, 2-2 on Rada. He's trying to retire the leadoff man now for the 3rd straight inning. Into the windup, the right-hander's 2-2. Called strike 3. 3rd strikeout today for Carter Lawler. 2nd time he's gotten a St. Francis hitter looking. That's one thing that Lawler came into today, really being able to tout 10 strikeouts in just 6 2/3 innings entering play today. His numbers over his first 2 outings, other than strikeouts, weren't all that impressive, but that number alone shows you what he's capable of doing. Strike 1 called on Foster Heisey, who was the first strikeout victim back in the first inning. He's 0 for 1. It came on a 3-2 pitch that he thought was upstairs. He was ready to walk on down to first. He takes this pitch for a strike. It's 0-2. Lawler's doing a great job of getting ahead of hitters. He's ahead of Heisey and not yet able to put him away as he misses up and away on the heater. 1-2. 8 of the last 9 batters to face Lawler have seen a first pitch strike. This one has popped out to shallow left. Backing up is the shortstop Schrader. He's called off by Michael Barbado coming in from left. Barbado makes the grab, 2 away. 6 in a row retired. And Lawler will try to make it back-to-back perfect innings as he faces Adam Cibulka for the 2nd time. Cibulka is 0 for 1 with a ground out to second base. He swings through the first offering, strike 1. That's now 9 of the last 10, and really you could go further back than that. That's nearly as impressive. He's faced 16 batters total, and 14 of them have seen first pitch strikes. Ball inside, 1-1. A few of those first pitch strikes were offered at and put in play. Still counts as a first pitch strike. Ground ball to third base, scooped up cleanly. Jake Farr across the diamond, and it is in and out of the glove of Trey Roberson. Cibulka is safe at first on the third baseman's throwing error. That snaps the string of 6 in a row retired. It gets St. Francis a base runner with 2 outs in the 4th. And now a courtesy runner comes in for the catcher Cibulka. St. Francis will bring in the speedier Eric Maffey. Try to come around from first base with 2 outs in the 4th. Carter Lawler now forced to pitch out of the stretch. He got what he was looking for. Cibulka doesn't run all that well, so the grounder to third was as routine as they come for Jake Farr. Made a bad throw though. Ball 1 high on the number 7 batter, Noah Carraro, who was squaring to bunt. Not sure if he was actually looking to drop that one down or if he's just trying to pull the third baseman in. Tough to throw on a cold day like this. From third base over to first. Farr may have struggled to get a clean grip on that ball as Carraro fouls one off to even the count 1-1. Still tied 2-2 in the bottom of the 4th inning. One pitch, righty versus righty. Throw to first instead, and Maffey dives back to the bag safely. One ball, 1 strike. Runner goes, swung on and looped out to right center field for a hit. Noah Carraro is aboard. Maffey stops at third base on the Carraro single. And they're at the corners with 2 down, back-to-back base runners. 5th hit of the game for St. Francis, and that 2-out error may prove to be very costly. Sean Harper is the batter. He tripled his first time up. This is the 3rd time in 4 innings today that St. Francis has gotten a man at least as far as third base. They've only scored in the first, but they left a man at third in the 2nd inning, and now they've got one there in the 4th as Harper takes ball 1 outside. Sean Harper hit his 3rd extra base hit of the season in the 2nd inning today. Foul back off the net, 1-1. Tie ball game. Carter Lawler had retired 6 straight batters. He got the first 2 men here in the 4th, but Cebulka reached on an error. Noah Carraro singled, and they're at the corners with 2 down. 1-1 on Harper. Pickoff throw to first base. One pitch. And around the move, it's fouled back. Into the seats, it's 1-2. Crowd today has congregated almost exclusively down the third base line. That's where the sun is right now. Eventually, the sun is going to be covering all seats. So everybody might not necessarily be bunched together in one section as they are right now. Only a couple of fans are smattered throughout the rest of the ballpark. 1-2. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Courtesy runner Maffey's at third, Carraro's at first. 2-2 on the number 8 batter, Sean Harper. Lawler looking to put a 0 on the board. Line drive out to left center field. That ball finds some green space. A base hit for Harper. It scores Maffey and gives St. Francis a 3-2 lead. Carraro was running with the pitch. He easily makes it into third base. 3 straight 2-out base runners. And we've got a 3-2 ball game. St. Francis back on top. A 2-out error prolonged the inning. And after back-to-back singles, I'm sure Jake Farr shaking his head over at third base right now. He had a chance to end this inning. Couldn't quite make the throw. Here's Dolan Nicholson, who struck out swinging in the 2nd. He takes ball 1 high. Runner goes from first and makes it into second safely. Steal for Sean Harper. Didn't look like he was trying to steal there. He just wanted himself to get in a rundown to score Carraro from third base. Mount Mercy wasn't having any of it. They let him go. 1-0 on Dolan Nicholson, left-handed hitting center fielder. Nicholson wearing short sleeves today, calls time. I believe he's the only player I've seen on either team without a long sleeve undershirt. 35 degrees at first pitch today. Strike over the inside corner, 1-1. The run to score here in the 4th inning is unearned. Any more to score will also be unearned. And they do have a chance for more with runners at second and third base with 2 outs. 1-1 on Dolan Nicholson. Swing and a miss. It's 1-2. Lawler got 2 quick outs. He struggled to get out of the inning, but he's 1 strike away from doing just that. This will be his 24th pitch this inning. He threw only 7 in the 3rd. Nicholson swings and bloops it down the left field line. Barbado comes charging in, but has to play it on a hop. 2 runs are in for the Fighting Saints. A 2-run single for Dolan Nicholson. And St. Francis has broken it open. It's 5-2. 3 runs have come all with 2 outs in this 4th inning. And all of them have been unearned after a 2-out error kept the inning alive. That's the first hit of the season for Dolan Nicholson, now 1 for 16 this year. His first 2 RBIs of the year. And a big hit, as Carter Lawler will get a visit on the pitcher's mound. It was smooth sailing for Lawler for a little while there. After giving up hits to the first 3 batters of the game and 2 runs in the first inning, he retired 10 out of the next 11 batters he faced, including 6 in a row heading into the 4th, and including the first 2 batters of the 4th. But then Adam Cebulka hit a grounder to third base. Was played by the third baseman Farr, but he made a bad throw out to first base. Cebulka ended up safely at first base on the air, and that's been followed by 3 consecutive singles. Back to the top of the lineup and Travis Schoonover as the meeting on the mound concludes. Schoonover is 1 for 2. He's been aggressive at the plate today. Singled, stole a base, and scored a run in the first. And then in the third, he offered at the first pitch and flew it out to the warning track in right field before it was chased down by Cale Lamb. Ball 1 outside on Schoonover. Travis Schoonover is the 7th batter this inning for St. Francis. 5 of them have come with 2 outs. Foul tipped right in the batter's box, 1-1. Good speed over at first base with Dolan Nicholson. Hasn't attempted a steal yet this year. That's because he'd only been on base once prior to this. Ball low and in, and it got him in the foot. Schoonover is hit with the pitch down around the foot, and that advances Nicholson to second base. Schoonover is at first, second time he's reached today, and that's 5 straight 2-out base runners for the Fighting Saints. Here's John Peterson as a few guys start getting stretched down in the Mount Mercy bullpen for the first time today. Peterson is 1 for 2 with an infield single and a flyout. He swings over the first pitch, strike 1. 8th man to hit this inning for St. Francis. Lawler's 0-1. Tapped down the first base line. That rolls foul. Count features no balls and 2 strikes. Lawler was quick, efficient, and productive the first 3 innings. Here in the 4th, he's been working slower. He's been worked a lot harder, and he's not been nearly as effective, at least not since there were 2 outs in the inning. After those first 2 outs were recorded, error, single, hit by pitch. And now 0-2 on John Peterson, who takes a ball off the glove of Spencer Wiskus. The runners advance. Nothing is quite going right for Mount Mercy right now. They're at second and third with 2 down. And now a base hit from Peterson, who's certainly done plenty of that in his career, hitting .381 coming into today. Has a chance to drive in 2 more runs with a hit. Almost any type of hit. One and 2. Ball 2 just inside. Like the home plate umpire there was getting ready to flinch and perhaps make a call against the Fighting Saints to end the inning. But he did call it ball 2. And Lawler is still 1 strike away from putting a stop to it. Line drive into center field, coming in, and it's under the glove of Austin Hillpiper. 2 runs at least are going to score. Peterson around second, heading for third. He's being waved around third base as well. Peterson coming in to the plate. He is safe standing up. It's an inside the park 3-run homer. A low line drive towards the center fielder, Austin Hillpiper. Hillpiper tried to make the shoestring catch. It went right under his glove. And at that point, Peterson could have run for days. He circles all of the bases, and the Saints mount a 6-run rally, all with 2 outs. 6 consecutive base runners, starting with the 2-out error. For John Peterson, home run number 1. RBI is number 1, 2, and 3 for this year. Tesh flies it out to right field. Long run towards the line, and a diving catch made by Cale Lamb to end the inning. Great effort there by Lamb, right when Mount Mercy really needed it. Things were slipping away from them fast entering that inning. It was a 2-2 tie, but as we leave the 4th, St. Francis bats around, and they've got themselves an 8-2 lead. We move into the top of the 5th inning with St. Francis now possessing their biggest lead of the game. In fact, it had been a 1-run game the entire way until the Fighting Saints batted around, scored 6 runs, all with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. Now in the top of the 5th, it's ball 1 high on Nick Traisman to get things started. Michael Beaudoin has retired 6 consecutive batters. It's been a while since he's been out there. St. Francis half of the 4th inning lasted quite a while. Ball inside, 2-0 the count on Traisman. Nick Traisman is 1 for 1. He hit an RBI single with 2 outs back in the 2nd inning. There's a called strike, 2-1. Beaudoin has not been quite as effective as his counterpart Carter Lawler in terms of throwing strikes early in the count. He misses inside on this one, 3-1. There have been some longer at bats, some tougher battles, but ever since the first batter of the game, when he put Colin Schrader aboard, he hasn't walked anybody. Traisman flies this ball to shallow left field. Long run in. Harper dives and pulls it in. Back-to-back diving catches. One ended the bottom of the 4th, and now one on the other side to start the top of the 5th inning. A shallow fly to left. Harper had to make a great running play, covering a lot of distance, and he laid out at the last instant to make it 7 straight batters retired. And remember, the top of the 4th inning ended on a diving play as well from the shortstop Noah Carraro. Ball 1 called on the leadoff man Colin Schrader. 1-0 on the shortstop. Schrader is 0 for 1 with a ground out. He led off the ball game with a walk and a run scored. Inside, 2-0. Beaudoin falls behind another Mustang hitter, but even with all the good hitters' counts, Mount Mercy has not been able to get through to him in a while. There's a ball off the inside corner. 3-0. 7 of the last 8 Mustangs have seen a first pitch ball. And Schrader sees second, third, and fourth pitch balls as well. 7 of the first 9 this inning from Beaudoin have missed the zone. It's tough to have a long layoff the way that he did in the bottom of the 4th inning. On a day as cold as this, you tighten up very fast. Not sure if that's had an effect on him, but it certainly seems to have in the early going in this 5th inning. 1 out, 1 on. And the batter is Cale Lamb. He takes a strike over the outside corner. So a rare first pitch strike thrown by Michael Beaudoin, and Lamb is behind in the count. He's had a good day at the plate so far, though, 2 for 2 with a single and a double. Ball in the dirt, runner takes off. Cebulka's throw to second base. In time, out number 2. Schrader is caught stealing. We saw one of those on the other side back in the bottom of the 1st inning when St. Francis tried to advance a runner on a pitch in the dirt. Schrader tried to advance, but Cebulka kept it in front of him here. Didn't get a clean grip on it initially, but on the second effort, he grabbed it cleanly, fired a strike down to second, and got the second out of the inning. There's a grounder to third foul. It's 1-2. Schrader's walk had snapped a string of 7 straight retired. He ended up reaching base, but he's retired anyway. So for all intents and purposes, 8 consecutive men have been set down by the Fighting Saints defense. Now the 1-2 to Lamb. Flown out to right center field, trying to find the gap. It does. It's down for a base hit. Sent back in quickly by Dolan Nicholson, holding Lamb to a single. Man aboard with 2 outs. Well, back in the bottom of the 4th inning, St. Francis had 2 outs and nobody on base. They ended up scoring 6 times. So Mount Mercy knows that crazier things have happened than a big rally from them right here. Try to mount a 2-out scoring chance with Spencer Wiskus standing in. The catcher, Wiskus, takes a strike. Next pitch is flown out to right field. Foul, not a play. 0-2. Remember, Schrader was caught stealing on a pitch in the dirt, and he just stayed put. You'd be looking at first and second and only 1 out right now, and it'd be a very scary spot for Michael Beaudoin. Instead, 1 on, 2 outs, and the 0-2 pitch hits Wiskus in the leg. So that's 3 consecutive base runners for Mount Mercy. Thanks to the caught stealing, there are only 2 men on base with 2 outs. But Mount Mercy making it dangerous just the same. Nick Supel is the batter. They've got 2 runs today, and both of them have come on 2-out hits, including one from Nick Supel, whose 2-out RBI single in the 1st inning made it 1-0. Mount Mercy brings in a courtesy runner over at first base. We may see a new pitcher now as well. Brian Mahalik out on the mound. There is a man warming up down the left field line right now for St. Francis. And it looks like they'll stick with their starter for at least one more at bat. The batter is Nick Supel, 1 for 2 with an RBI single and a ground out. Beaudoin had retired 7 in a row before 3 consecutive batters have reached base in the 5th inning. Very similar to what we saw last inning from the other pitcher. Carter Lawler had retired 6 in a row, and then a 2-out error kept the inning alive. Saints ended up getting 6 straight men on, all of them scored. Big play at the end of that inning was the 3-run inside the park homer for John Peterson. First pitch to Supel, flown to right field, shallow. Schoonover comes in towards the line and makes the catch. The inning is over. A walk, a hit by pitch, a single, but ultimately no harm done by Mount Mercy in the fifth. We head to the bottom of the frame. St. Francis 8, Mount Mercy 2. Eight to 2, St. Francis leads Mount Mercy as we move into the bottom half of the fifth inning. Fighting Saints scored 6 runs to break a tie score in the bottom of the fourth, and that has chased Carter Lawler from the game. New pitcher for the Mustangs is right-hander Brady Donahue. On for the third time this year. He has no record and a 27 ERA. His first pitch is over for strike one. We're underway in the bottom of the fifth. Kevin Rada leads off his second consecutive inning. He struck out looking to begin the fourth. 0 for 2 in the game with an RBI as he swings and misses. The count is 0-2. Brady Donahue this season, 1 inning pitched. He's allowed 3 runs, 4 hits, 2 walks. He has struck out 1. Trying to make it 2 strikeouts for the season, but he misses downstairs on Rada. And the count is 1-2. Lawler looked pretty good through 3 2/3 innings today. But then with 2 outs in the fourth, he gave up 6 straight base runners. 6 runs. There's a swing and a miss for strike 3. Rada is out number 1 in the fifth. Leadoff batter retired for the 4th consecutive inning. Here's Foster Heisey. Final line is not really a bad one at all for Carter Lawler. He is in line for the loss, and that would be his second of the season. But 6 of the 8 runs he allowed were unearned. Heisey takes the first pitch low and in for ball 1. He allowed 8 hits in his 4 innings. Again, 8 runs, 2 of them earned. Struck out 3, didn't walk anybody. Heisey fouls it off to the right side. Count is 1-1. Adam Cebulka is in the on-deck circle. And if anybody reaches this inning, we'll see Noah Carraro. Ball low and outside, 2-1. Saints have found themselves just 6 outs away from a victory. This is just a 7-inning game as part 1 of a doubleheader. There's a ball, 3-1. Strike over the outside corner. Heisey thought he had walked for the second time today. He hasn't walked before. It's just the second time he thought he had walked. Back in the first, he took a 3-2 pitch that he thought was high. Ended up going down looking. This time he thought it was ball 4 instead of strike 2. And now he takes ball 4. One way or another, he was going to walk today, and he's finally picked up that free pass as he heads on down to first. First time he's been on base today. It's the third time he's walked in 8 games this season. It brings up Adam Cibulka. Cibulka hit what appeared to be the third out of the inning. In the fourth, a ground ball to third, routine play for Farr. He threw it away at first base. It started a 6-run rally. Strike over the inside corner. 0-1 on Cibulka. 0 for 2. He's grounded out along with reaching on that error. That ended up leading to the first run of the inning for St. Francis. He didn't score it, though. The courtesy runner, Maffey, did. Ball downstairs. 1-1. One on, one out. Cibulka in the batter's box. Carraro on deck. Big lead for St. Francis in the bottom of the 5th inning. Swing and a miss. It's 1-2. Foster Heisey takes a very short lead from first base. Ball outside. 2-2. Both teams today looking for their second win of the season. Mount Mercy lost their first 6 before winning their final game on an Arizona road swing that opened up the season earlier this week. St. Francis came into today on a 3-game losing streak. Grounder through the hole on the left side. That's a hit for Cibulka. Heisey moves up to second base. 2 men on with 1 out. And Noah Carraro bats for the 3rd time. Cibulka will be replaced for the 2nd time in a row. Maffey comes in as the courtesy runner for the catcher. And some trouble here with only 1 out in the inning for Brady Donahue. Donahue struck out the first batter he faced. Since then, though, a walk and a single, and now he's got to face a man who's already got a big hit and a run today. First pitch to Noah Carraro. Fouled back, strike 1. Fighting Saints played a 4-gamer against Cumberland down in Tennessee last week. Strike called, 0-2. They lost 3 of the 4, but did pick up a 6-3 victory in the opener of that 4-game series. That was last Friday. So that's their 1 win this year. They dropped their last 3 to Cumberland, including a tough 5-4 decision last Saturday. Ground ball to third base, picked up cleanly by Farr. He throws to second for the force, and that's all they get. 1 out recorded on the play, 2 outs in the inning. Heisey advances to third base. Carraro is safe at first on the 5-4 fielder's choice. Maffey is retired 5-4. The ball was dropped by the second baseman Traisman. The ruling was, though, that it had been dropped in exchange from glove to hand. So the catch was made. Here's Sean Harper. Harper is 2 for 2 today. He takes a ball outside with the runner on the move. The throw to second, close play, and he's out. Noah Carraro called out at second base on a steal attempt, and the inning is over. Fighting Saints get a walk and a single with 1 out in the 5th inning, but don't turn them into any runs as we head to the top of the 6th inning. It's 6 runs. St. Francis lead 8-2. Angel Sandoval is in to pitch the top of the 6th inning, and his first pitch is swung through for strike 1 by Jake Farr. 8-2, St. Francis has the lead thanks to a 2-out, 6-run rally. They had 2 outs, nobody on base, and ended up with 6 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning. Farr bloops that one out to right on the infield. It's the first baseman Heisey making the grab. 1 up, 1 down in the 6th. Again, the new pitcher is Angel Sandoval. Sandoval replaces Michael Beaudoin today. Sandoval 0-1 with a 7.5 ERA and 2 starts on the season. 6 innings pitched. He's allowed 5 runs on 5 hits with a walk and 8 strikeouts. He faces Michael Barbado with 1 out and nobody on. It's ball 1 up and in. Barbado 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a pop out. Righty versus righty, the next pitch. This is high. 2 balls and no strikes. Mount Mercy led this game 1-0 back in the 1st. St. Francis wrested the lead away right away. 2 runs in the bottom of the inning. Fastball for a strike over the inside corner, 2-1. Then Mount Mercy jumped right back on the scoreboard in the top of the 2nd inning. They tied it up 2-2. It was 2-2 for a little while before that 6-run rally for the Saints in the bottom of the 4th, and that's where we sit right now. Fly ball out to center. Coming in is Dolan Nicholson. He makes the grab. 2 away. Good start to the inning for Angel Sandoval. He's faced 2 batters and retired them both on just a total of 6 pitches. That brings up Austin Hillpiper. Hillpiper is 1 for 2 today. Doubled and scored a run back in the 2nd inning as he takes a strike. It's 0-1. That evens up the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hillpiper, sophomore center fielder from Lancaster, California. Flies this one foul off to the left side. Out of play, it's 1-2. Well, a Californian like him, probably not too thrilled about playing in this type of weather, but he has played well with that 2nd inning 2-bagger. He made the defensive mistake, leading to John Peterson's inside the park home run a couple of innings ago as well, though. Bouncer right back to the mound. A nice job by Sandoval to glove that on the high bounce. His throw is low to first base, but Foster Heisey pulls it in for out number 3. 1, 2, 3, 6th inning. We'll head to the bottom of the frame. St. Francis 8, Mount Mercy 2. Bottom of the 6th inning, St. Francis leads by 6. Sean Harper leads things off and takes ball 1 from Donahue on for his 2nd inning of work. Harper was in the batter's box in the 5th inning when Noah Carraro was caught stealing to end the frame. So now he gets a fresh start to his at-bat. 1 ball, no strikes for a guy who had 3 hits this season coming into play today. And he's got 2 today. Ball 2. Check that, he had 2 hits coming into today, and he's doubled that today with a single and a triple. His single in the 4th was an RBI, so he won't complain about it, but it was his first non-extra base hit of the year. Strike over the inside corner, 2-1. So I'm sure that's somewhat disappointing. It looked like he might have a year in which his entire hitting slate was doubles, triples, and homers. Alas, he has a single now. Swing and a miss, 2-2. Batting for the 3rd time today. He'll be followed by Dolan Nicholson, and then we're back to the top of the order with Travis Schoonover. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Harper. Donahue strikes him out swinging. The pitch is in the dirt. Picked up by Wiskus. The throw to first is in plenty of time. 1 away. 2nd strikeout for Donahue in an inning and a 3rd. That's the 5th time the St. Francis batter has gone down on strikes today. Dolan Nicholson had 1 of those. He struck out swinging in the 2nd inning. He also had a 2-run single in the 4th, his first hit of the year, and his first RBIs of the year. First pitch to Nicholson, swung on and missed. It's 0-1. Angel Sandoval came out of the St. Francis bullpen. He pitched a 1-2-3 top of the 6th inning, and with nobody warming up now, assumed to see him again in the 7th. There's a tapper to first base, picked up cleanly by Roberson. He carries it to the bag. 3 unassisted, 2 outs. St. Francis now just 3 outs away from their 2nd win of the year, and then will get set if they're able to finish it off in the 7th inning for a 9-inning game 2. Travis Schoonover is 1 for 2. He has been on base twice, and both times he's scored. He's singled and been hit by a pitch. Ball 1 outside. First time that Schoonover is facing Donahue, the relief pitcher, who's done a pretty good job so far. Donahue had allowed 3 runs in just 1 inning over his first 2 appearances. Today he's got an inning and 2/3 and is not allowed a run. Called strike 1 to even the count. He did have some trouble in the 5th. Thanks to a single and a walk. There were 2 men on base with only 1 out. Nobody scored though. Swing and a miss, 1-2. St. Francis ended up stranding a man at 3rd base in an inning that ended on the caught stealing. 2 outs, nobody on. A ball and 2 strikes on Travis Schoonover. This would be the second 1-2-3 inning of the game for Mount Mercy pitching if Donahue can finish it off, but he misses downstairs. It bounces in on Schoonover. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Donahue sets quickly. Swung on and missed, strike 3. 2nd strikeout of the inning, 3rd of the game in 2 innings worked by Donahue today. Now we go to the 7th. St. Francis goes down in order in the 6th. They still lead though, 8-2.
You guys take care.
Seventh inning, it's 8-9-1 due up for Mount Mercy, chasing 6 runs. Roberson, Tradesman, and Schrader to face Angel Sandoval, who pitched a perfect 6th inning. Trey Roberson 0 for 2 today. He has struck out and grounded out. He offers at the first pitch, fouling it straight back. 0-1. Roberson was robbed by the shortstop Noah Carraro back in the 4th inning. Diving play up the middle. Swing and a miss, 0-2. At the time, it was a 2-2 game. That was a huge play to keep St. Francis in that tie game and move on to the bottom of the 4th, and that's when they broke it open with 6 runs, all with 2 outs. On 0-2, Roberson gets hit, or did it get the bat? It got the bat, at least according to the home plate umpire. They're sending him back. Roberson trying to show the mark on his hand to indicate didn't get the bat. It got him in the hand, and he should get first base, so the umpires will talk it over here. And he does get first base. So on an 0-2 pitch, Roberson is put aboard to lead off the top of the 7th inning. And that brings up Nick Tradesman. Tradesman is 1 for 2 with an RBI single in the 2nd inning. He flew out to left, and a diving Sean Harper back in the 5th inning. Before he bats, Brian Mahalik wants an explanation as to why Trey Roberson was given first base. Initially, he dropped his bat and went right down to first as the ball came up and in on him. Clearly hit something. Home plate umpire said, nope, get back to the batter's box. Didn't get your hand, it got the bat. He said very politely, I'm sure, no, it's my hand. The umpires talked it over. They agreed it was his hand. He's at first base, and Brian Mahalik is satisfied by whatever the conversation was between him and the home plate umpire. So Tradesman is at bat. And Tradesman takes a strike. 0-1. Sandoval's next pitch. Grounded up the middle. Carraro to his left. Fields it. Flips to second for the force. Peterson over to first base. It's a double play. 6-4-3. Second double play turned by the St. Francis defense today. And there are 2 outs with the bases empty. Fighting Saints are just 1 out away from wrapping up a Game 1 victory. Game 2 of the doubleheader to follow in about a half hour following the conclusion of this one. Schrader takes the first pitch strike. Colin Schrader is 0 for 1 today. He grounded out to second base in the 2nd inning. He's also walked twice, though. The only 2 walks of the game issued by St. Francis. There's a ball high. Count is 1-1. Swung on, flown out to shallow left field. Sean Harper comes in. Harper is there. He's got it. And there's your ball game. St. Francis takes the opener by an 8-2 final. Fighting Saints were down early. They were tied at 2 in the bottom of the 4th, and with 2 outs and nobody on, they came up with 6 consecutive base runners. All of them scored, and they were able to pull away to an 8-2 victory. It started early for Mount Mercy. They scored in the 1st inning on a 2-out RBI single from Nick Supel. Saints answered with 2 runs in the bottom of the 1st inning. An RBI triple from Josh Tesh. Run-scoring ground-out for Kevin Rada. Mount Mercy tied it up again in the 2nd on a 2-out RBI single from Nick Tradesman. But as I said, it was the bottom of the 4th where this game changed once and for all. With 2 outs and nobody on, Adam Cebulka reached on an error. Then Noah Carraro singled. Sean Harper singled. Dolan Nicholson hit a 2-run single. Travis Schoonover was hit by a pitch, and John Peterson had the big blow, a 3-run inside the park home run that made the score 8-2, and that was the final as Michael Beaudoin went 5 innings for the victory. Angel Sandoval pitched the final 2 to wrap it up for St. Francis. The loss goes to Carter Lawler, although only 2 of the 8 runs he allowed were earned. Lawler falls to 0-2 on the season. Michael Beaudoin picks up his first win of the year He is 1-1, and the Saints pick up their second victory as a team. They improve to 2-6, while Mount Mercy falls to 1-7. One more game still to go here, a 9-inning affair, which will kick off just around 3:10 or so, as is the plan, and then the series wraps up with a 9-inning single game tomorrow afternoon at 1. But we'll have game 2 of our doubleheader for you in just a little bit, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a little while for game 2 of this doubleheader. The Saints take the opener 8-2.